carrots, fake fruit, fake grapefruits, fake liar, you liar.
Well, that grenade toss looked a little bit like, I don't know, SHTF coming to Chicago. Welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. All of the you preppers, you patriots, you veterans, you deplorable types. It has been one heck of a week, folks. Well, since we did the zoo last, I've been in recovery mode. And then, of course, all week long I had a little bit of trouble with, family member, loved one having some medical issues to take care of. We got through that. We're all good now. We're looking forward at what is coming right back at us, right? If you don't see what's coming at you, how can you be ready for it? So you have to pay attention. And one of the best ways to pay attention is to be awake, right? All those sleeping people out there, they took that pill and went back to sleep. Well, you're red-pilled, you're awake. And one of the things that helps you stay awake is coffee. You got www.cafefe.com. That coffee will wake you up. Nothing dramatic, nothing crazy, not stupid crazy coffee, just good coffee. And I proudly wear the shirt, folks, and I drink the coffee every day proudly. Now, this is Sunday Night Live. Last week, folks, you guys completely trashed me. Let's try not to do that this week, but I do owe a couple of shots out there. We've got a lot to talk about. So if you have a question, comment, thought, a topic, subject matter, hit the super chat button right up there. Get your question right here on the screen. The other way to do it is down below in the video description is thepreparedmind.club with the link. Then you've got CashApp, Venmo, and PayPal. So those are different ways you can get your questions in. And I may cover a topic, but if you've got another angle you're thinking of, a better way to describe it, another way to describe it, a different way to describe it, you're allowed to bring a topic up again and again, because we need to make sure we all have a thorough understanding. And your questions matter, damn it. It's not just me. It's not just my show. It's your show, especially on Sunday Night Live. So I'm going to start out with a shot that I owed a Blue Cord Devil, and had to do with his wife who has passed away 1 year ago. And here's to her, here's to you guys, here's to life, here's to living, here's to America, the red, white, and blue, the colors that are true. Semper Fi to you, Blue Cord Devil. Oh, yeah. Smooth indeed. It's a great way to start the show. Get me a little lubricated, get me a little loose, and I want to hear what you guys have to say as well. So, Mr. Ooman, I believe we have Chin Music, who has done a $52.43 super chat donation. So that's $50 plus a $2.43. And I know a lot of people like that particular caliber. Very flat shooting, high energy, does the trick. A great hunting round. And hunting, why do we hunt? Well, we hunt, right, for survival. Sometimes we hunt for food, and other times we hunt the enemy. Here's to you, Chin Music. You are always there, brother, like so many others, and I really appreciate it. Godspeed, Semper Fi, and keep triggering those wimps out there. Indeed. Okay, here's number 2, but remember, we're going to take it easy on the John. Woo! 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 So Chin Music here says, am I the only one that would pay to hear Corn Pop speak at the Donkeypox National Convention? Estimates say 100,000 maggot-infested towelhead simps are coming to protest, and businesses all over Chicago are boarding up and closing. Strange, I don't remember that happening last month in Milwaukee at the Republican National Convention. Chin Music says, fuck these people, and Semper Fi to you, friends. Hope I can watch today. We are trying this afternoon. I hope all is well with you, Chin Music. I know you'll check in later, if not sooner. But what is he talking about? Well, let's get into this a little bit more. In Chicago, they're going to have the Democrat National Convention, their big party to announce who their presidential candidate is. There are still some people out there saying that the DNC, the Democrat Party, is going to select someone other than Kamala. They've given her several weeks to try and shine. The press has given her a pass. They're playing her up. They're talking her up. They're selling her up. And she continues to disappoint and disappoint and disappoint. And then they said, hey, let's get Twinkle Toes Tampon Timmy Walls, right? The horse gobbler. Let's bring him in and see if we can fix things up. Well, he lied this weekend. They haven't done interviews. They did a conversation, kind of like Trump and Musk did. They did a conversation between Kamala Harris, and Twinkle Toes Timmy, and they talked to each other, and he lied some more. Not only has he lied, and he is now guilty of stolen valor, a federal crime, and he's not been arrested. Year after year, decade after decade, this guy's lied about that. He lied about being a coach, a football coach. Well, he had a drunk driving incident, and he wasn't the head coach. He was an unpaid assistant coach, I believe. Anyways, this guy, they lie. That's why I started out with the lying disclaimer. They're liars, complete. Kamala is now being accused of being a drunkard, right? So what we've got, though, is a serious problem. The Chin Music brought it up. Chicago stores are boarding their windows. They're building wood frame walls, putting plywood, and they're standing that up. They're just closing their businesses. And I don't understand why anyone would want to live in Chicago and have a business in Chicago or New York City or San Francisco or LA or Portland or Seattle or any place where Democrats are in charge. But they're there. They are there. So the last time I think they held the Democrat National Convention in Chicago was 1968. They had huge riots. Well, right now they're claiming, they meaning the media, they are claiming that there are going to be 100,000 or more people from the Middle East, European Antifa, American Antifa, BLM, and pro-Hamas terrorist supporters. And they are there at the convention. And guess what else? I saw a picture. It looked to me, and maybe Uman can help me with what he saw. I saw about 6 pallets of bricks all stacked together in one location. Who knows how many others? If it's even real. I haven't been able to confirm if it's real, but it certainly looks suspicious, and we're going to find out. If you remember, all the way back to 2020, they brought lots of bricks to different cities. They just showed up. Home Depot just delivered bricks and set them down, or Lowe's or Maynard's or Ace Hardware, or whoever delivers bricks. How convenient was that? But they're delivering them to the Democrat National Convention. A very odd situation developing. And yes, I agree with you, Chin Music. Fuck these people, meaning the Democrats. Fuck them. Anyone who supports the Democrat Party, anyone who votes for Democrats is the enemy of our nation, because they're voting for the destruction of our nation. Can you imagine? Try this. The Republican Party, if it was pro-America 100%, and if the Democrat Party was pro-America 100%, and they were both nationalist, America first, pro-America, patriotic parties that just had a couple of different ideas, there would be no room. There would be no allowance for these terrorists on the street. They would just get batoned, thrown in jail, thrown in prison. That'd be the end of them. You don't reward. You don't allow. You don't give permission to these people to do what they're doing. Anyways, we got lots more to talk about. Ooman, thank you very much for bringing up chin music. And now it is time. Let's move on to Darcy T, who has done a $50 super chat donation. She is back every week, just like Mr. Chin Music. Lots of people are back every week. Gotta love it. So she did a $50 PayPal super chat. And here we go. We got it up on the board this week. Darcy T says this. It seems to me that the multiple crises occurring around the world, wars, unregulated migration, meaning illegal immigration, civil unrest, promotion of Marxist ideology, hacking of private data, economic instability and inflation, pandemics, food shortages. We are food storage as preppers. The rest of the planet is food shortages. Is just pushing us ever closer toward the United Nations World Economic Forum digital goals and eventually mandatory global identification. Once that is in place and cash is removed, there will be absolutely no privacy, as everything that we do will be recorded in their digital panopticon. Darcy using a big word there. They always mention no one left behind in their documentation, which is code for everyone being forced to comply. If you think it's ugly now, hang on to your hat. So she had quite a quite a series of questions and comments. So multiple crises. So we do have wars. I will briefly cover everything. And then once again, if we've got more specific questions, the war that's developing is the one in Israel between them and the Palestinians who are crying, please, please stop killing us while we prepare to kill you some more. And then you got the war in Ukraine, which is now a war inside Russia. And Russia, as I predicted, has waited for them to get too far, not have the proper supply lines, and they're shooting the shit out of the Ukrainian military now that has gone into Kursk. It's a mess. Now, unregulated migration or illegal immigration and invasion. Europe is suffering. England is suffering. America is suffering from this. They now have enough jihadi Joes, folks. Jihad Joe, the jihad militant suicide killer or just plain old killer. They are everywhere, and they have enough of them now. They feel that it is safe to start attacking people. The imams, or we're going to loosely use the word priest or cleric to describe them. An imam. They are now saying they're going to kill all non-Muslim people that refuse to convert. Either you become their religion or they kill you. And they are forcing people to convert by the thousands at the point of a sword, at the edge of a knife, at the threat of being raped. Some of some of the nations that are most susceptible are Spain and Portugal. But folks, they're running around England. There is about to be serious international crisis or crises. And we'll talk more about that. Civil unrest. Well, that's America. We have a problem with not just religious foes, meaning the jihadi Joes, but also Antifa, BLM, the fascists, and the Marxists. Promotion of Marxist ideology, there it is, the Marxism, but also fascism. Once again, way over on the political left, you've got communism, fascism, and Islamism. Over here is freedom. Way the hell away. There is no right left. Fascism is not right wing. Fascism is totalitarian government. Communism is totalitarian government. And the Islamism is totalitarian government. All of them own you and will tell you what to do, say, think, act, and pay taxes, or they'll fucking kill you. Hacking of private data, that's another problem out there. They're hacking data. They're stealing identification. That's their game they're playing. That's the game they're playing. They want to scare people and terrorize them. Man, let's go to the next page. Economic instability, inflation. We're all feeling it, folks. We're feeling it. But, it's Trump's fault. And if you just elect Kamala in 3 months and she's made president in 6 months, then she's going to fix it, even though she's been there 42 months already. So I don't expect her to do a damn thing. Food shortages. Those predictions are coming, and we've talked about them off and on for years. Food shortage because they're not producing enough, or food shortage because of an interrupted food supply. We're going to find out. How about healthy food? Not just food, but healthy food. Yeah, we got a problem there. Anyways, the United Nations, the World Economic Forum, the Illuminati New World Order types, they want to control everything with their digital currency and digital control system. But folks, I think Darcy's correct. Once it's in place and cash is removed, they will have more control over us. The only way to win is to not play the game. You can't sign up for their system and win. The same way, continuing to vote for rhino Republicans and continuing to vote for Democrats is not going to win. Right? We need America first, nationalist candidates who love this country and won't destroy it. On that, I believe Tulsi Gabbard. Very quickly, Tulsi Gabbard has been brought into the Trump preparation team for debate because she absolutely smoked Kamala Harris in the Democrat primaries back in 2020. Smoked her so bad she didn't come back, didn't even make it to the Iowa caucuses. I have a problem with this, and I'm going to criticize Trump for bringing a Democrat on. There's no redeeming value or quality to Tulsi Gabbard. Anyone can figure out how to put down, hold down, and defeat in any debate with Kamala Harris. She is her own worst enemy. The best thing to do with Kamala Harris is let her talk. The more she said, the dumber she sounds. All Trump has to do is let her talk and go, I didn't understand a damn word she just said. Period. In any event, folks, I will criticize Trump, and I think this is a bad move. You don't bring the enemy into your camp. I understand the old saying, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. I understand that saying, and I understand the purpose behind it. But bringing them into decision-making areas, not a good idea. Now, is he kind of courting the moderate Democrat Tulsi Gabbard voters? Possibly. I want to make sure that, you guys are getting your money's worth on these super chats. And there's another group that have come out this weekend. It is, believe it or not, and it actually made me sick. Swifties for Trump. Oh man, you heard about this, right? Swifties for Trump. And they got pictures all over social media, Instagram, X, Facebook, Meta, name it. Swifties for Trump. It's a bunch of Gen Z, millennial, ding-dong girls with makeup all over their face and cutie. They want to be cute, and they're Swifties for Trump, and they're growing big time. Not because Taylor Swift said to vote for Trump, but because they're actually using, I think their brains started working just enough to realize that you don't just vote for Kamala because she's a woman. You don't just vote for Kamala because she's black. You don't vote for Kamala because she's Indian. You don't vote for Kamala just because someone else says vote for Kamala. You think for yourself. Strange world we live in, folks. Strange indeed. Okay. Thank you, Darcy, for the great super chat donation, and we are going to continue with the show. We're going to go about 2 hours, or until I run out of questions, which could be 2.5, 3 hours, whatever you. Let's do this, Mr. Uman. Who is up next? We have Johnny Coathanger checking in with a $10 super chat donation. And he says a 40,000 degree sunrise in Chicago during the Democrat National Convention, and Antifa, Hamas, and other scum. 2 or more birds, 1 stone. Johnny, I think that would be an amazing thing. I would hate to see all the innocent people die. I would hate to see that. Uman might catch a really bad sunburn from that too. We don't want to lose our Uman. He's close to Chicago. That's right. So when the convention starts, Uman, do not look at Chicago unless you're wearing 1,000 SPF with some sunglasses, brother. But what kind of problems would that solve? Let's just entertain the idea. If someone were to drop a tactical nuke on Chicago, like, say, Hillary Clinton, to get rid of all of her political enemies, and then she could be the Democrat candidate. And there would be a lot of sympathy for Democrats at that point. But what would it do? Would it enrage the world? Would people be scared? Would patriots be excited and happy? There's a lot of, that's one of those mixed emotion things, like your mother-in-law driving off a cliff, but she's in your brand new car. It makes it a little tricky. Mixed emotions there. So anyways, I think what the upshot here with Johnny Coathanger is, we have had it with these people. There are no redeeming qualities in the Democrat Party. None whatsoever. The only thing about Tulsi Gabbard is she's decided free speech is a good thing. And she thinks that government, this is Tulsi Gabbard, because she defeated Kamala Harris and pissed her off. Right after that, she got put on a terror watch list. She didn't like that. Hey, what do you think you're doing to a Democrat, right? Why does anyone need to be on a terror watch list that isn't a terrorist? Every Antifa member or every college student, they ought to be looked at. Not me, not you, not taxpayers. Crazy world, but I think Chicago may burn. Maybe not at 40,000 degrees, but it might burn at 1,000 here and there. I expect it. I truly do. We're going to have a lot of social unrest. We're going to have a lot of partisan conflict, and it's coming. Mr. Uman, let us move on. This is your show, folks. We've got a super chat button right up there. What do you want to talk about? You do that, hit that button, and pow, I'll make you famous here. And it's Dan Erickson, Dan my man, with a $5 super chat donation. He says, has Joe refilled our strategic oil reserves yet? No. No, he has not. If not, we are in trouble the way things are going around the world. The answer is yes, we're in big fucking trouble. The strategic oil reserves, when this program was started decades and decades and decades ago, the intent was to have enough oil, crude oil, fuel oil, gasoline, all stored up. The idea was to have enough of it stored that the United States could withstand a terrific natural disaster, a terrific war-type disaster, a bombing, etc., so that there would be enough fuel oil, gasoline around to sustain us while we got supply lines and production restored. Now, the strategic oil reserve, as big as it is, I think it could only power the country for 3 days if we had to rely on it. It's not a lot, but it's still relatively important, especially for a geographic issue, a small area of the country. Still, it is, if you look at just raw numbers, it's a huge amount of oil. And where did it go? Where did that oil go? Oh, that's right. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris sold it to China. Sold it to China when oil prices were not high, but low. It's like, what good does it do to America? How does that help us? It doesn't. Everything the Democrats have done hurt us. And the way things are going around the world, as Dan says, we are in trouble. Saudi Arabia is no longer an American or an America-only ally. They said, fuck it, screw you guys. We are going to work with Russia for our national defense, and we're going to sell our oil to China and other nations that are a little more, shall we say, in line. Quite an interesting thing going on, folks. We have the Democrats trying to destroy the country, and almost half the country wants to vote for it. I mean, they have now said, instead of communist, it's, communist. Kamala Harris, right, is a communist. Communist. Whoo, Comrade Kamala. She is a commie, and they want to vote for that. She is, by the way, losing support, losing votes left and right. Black communities, black voters around the country are like, you know what? They ain't fooling us, bitch. Not fooling us. Same with the Swifties and other special groups. The white guys, white men for Kamala. Give me a fucking break. These guys show up. They're as bad as dildo butt plug rainbow monkey. They are a bunch of limp-wristed, skinny jean wearing fruitcakes. Look out. Just look out. Anyways, thank you, Dan Erickson, for the great continuing support. I appreciate it. And you always bring up great topics. Mr. Uman, who is up next? We have bump, Shin Music. He is back. He made it in for the $4.99 super chat donation. And he says, Uman needs to head to the RMZ for a week. Yes, he does. I can provide a map for that, Uman. The only problem with going to the RMZ, and by the way, we're already at 387 people live. Hit that thumbs up, share that internet address right up there, and make sure you're a subscriber. Otherwise, you can't do comments. You've got to be a subscriber to comment. So let's get up over 400. Let's head to 500 tonight. As far as the RMZ, that's the Real Man Zone. That's where I bugged out when I left California. I went to the jungle, did some jungle survival with you guys. Spent just over 100 days, but had to come back to the mainland for the 2020 election. So I've been here in the South, now more specifically in Florida, in mainland America for the last 4 years almost. 4 years. My 4-year anniversary of coming to the South will be on Halloween. That's a scary time, isn't it? Anyways, the RMZ, if we sent Uman there, he won't come back. He will not. He may not make it back. The natives, they probably like him. They didn't seem to have any problems with me. I just told them, I said, look, I can't say that. I just said, I'm like you guys. And they bought it. But Oliver, he might be able to get away with it. Anyways, Chin Music, thank you for the great support. And what do we have rolling today? I mean, there's so many crazy ass topics out there. I mean, I've got this huge list of here. It is your turn. I've got a new name for Kamala, by the way. There's a very old, very common venereal disease, sexually transmitted disease called chlamydia. So I came up, I think Kamala, we should call her Climavidia. And that's kind of, you don't want to get near that. Congressman Gus Bilirakis says hi to me. All right. That's literal. Gus Bilirakis saying hi to the Prepared Mind and Prepared Mind channel. Jolene, who is up next? We got the Prepared Mother, and we have the Prepared Uman, and we have the Prepared Chelsea. She says, drill, baby, drill. Cheers, John. And what does she mean by drill, baby, drill? Well, first, I'm going to tap this bottle for Chelsea. Now, no killing me, Chelsea. And if this bottle disappears, I'll have to go get another one. Anyways, that would be, I have to go through the bunker and through the woods. Woo! Okay, thank you, Chelsea. I'm going to talk about drill, baby, drill. Semper Fi, Godspeed, and God bless America. You've heard of PTSD? I've got PSSD. It's post-Scotch. I shouldn't make fun of people who have PTSD. At least, military. I'm not making fun of them at all. But any of these limp-wristed left-wing idiots that claim they have post-traumatic stress disorder. I have post-Scotch stress disorder from last week still. Anyways, drill, baby, drill. When Trump was in office, we were producing oil. We had the Alaskan thing going. We had the Keystone Pipeline. We had oil coming out of Canada. We had lots of energy. We were producing a lot of oil and selling it, making money. This country was more productive. Day one, Joe Biden and his partner, Camel Toes Harris, right? Chlamydia Kamala. Chlamydia Kamala. Ooh, that just sounds nasty. They shut down the Keystone Pipeline project on day one. A little bit of ink on paper, it changed it. And I want to remind everyone how hard it is to get oil. You've got to look for it. Then you've got to find it. Then you've got to do an infrastructure to support the pumping of it, the transportation of it, either through a pipeline with trucks, rails, what have you. Then you have to get it to a refinery, right? Then refine it. It's not an easy process. So the Keystone Pipeline, you don't just put a pipeline out there. You've got to go from point A to point B. Everywhere along the way, you've got to understand ups and downs, rivers, valleys, private property, public property, Native American property in Canada, First Nations property. If you're going to go through it, you've got to pay them for it. You've got to get easements. We have this thing called property rights. There is also this thing called eminent domain. But all of that was handled and taken care of to get the Canadian oil through the Keystone Pipeline, which greatly reduces the cost. Because you're not sending it by train. You're just pushing it through a pipe like a big garden hose full of oil. We need to drill, and get energy. We need to be energy independent so we don't have to worry about being in the situation where we rely on countries that no longer like us. Russia, we're not going to get Russian oil. We're not going to get Saudi oil. We're not going to get Nigerian oil. Those are like the three biggest oil producers on the planet. What a mess we've got. I'll tell you what, I'm glad, Chelsea, you and the hubby are well prepared. I'm going on the trust that you guys are well prepared. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense, and helping everyone you know get prepared. Share that address, thumbs up the video, and if you've got something to say, you've got to be a subscriber down below, hit the bell, right? And then you can get your questions in with the super chat button. Chelsea, thank you, as always, for the great support. Man, Jolene, who wants to step up next? And it's Dan, the man Erickson. He's back again with another $5 super chat donation. And he says, you should get Ted Nugent on your show. Between the two of you, that would be epic. And I tell you what, folks, I would love to speak with Ted Nugent. Growing up as a kid, a young man, Ted Nugent and his music were a big deal. When I got out of the service, I bought a 65 Ford F-250. It was converted to four-wheel drive, put a big block 460 in it with an RV cam and a 750 CFM. It was a Holly. Anyways, double pumper. It was a big truck, got 5.5 miles to the gallon. Anyways, I used to listen to Ted Nugent's Stranglehold anytime I was rolling in that bass, because it was, folks, that was a truck. All American. Anyways, Ted came up, though. It wasn't just music. When Waco happened, Waco, Texas, Ted Nugent, that was the first time I saw him in his political public capacity. And he came out and he addressed the world. He addressed the survivors. He addressed patriots. He addressed the militias, and he addressed the government. And he spoke eloquently. And I thought, wait a minute. I thought these rock and roll dudes were all about sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Now, it turns out Ted is a special kind of guy, right? He was also at that time, he started his hunting stuff and 4-wheel drive. It was like, holy shit, Ted's an all-American dude. I would love to speak with Ted. I'd love to hang out with Ted. Just an incredible human being who's been playing rock and roll. He's been making rock and roll, believe it or not, since I believe the 50s. Shit, I've only been alive since 1970, for fuck's sake. But yeah, man, if you can, Dan, go ahead and give Ted a call. Tell him I'd love to have him on the show. He's a funny son of a gun. He's witty, he's funny, he's well-informed, just like all of you guys. We are all well-informed. You know, it's just kind of tricky speaking about it. You know, it's hard to talk about it, hard to have recall and bring everything together. But that's what we try and do here. That's really what we try and do, is we take this information and that over there, and we try and make sense out of the world. But if you listen to the Democrats, they don't make a lick of fucking sense. In fact, actually, I take that back. They make perfect sense that we understand what their agenda is. If their agenda is destroy America, destroy the Constitution, and destroy you and me, well, now it makes perfect sense. Everything they're doing is completely doing just that. They have fought us and fought us and fought us and fought the Constitution for decades, if not the last century. But now they have exposed themselves as being anti-American, anti-Constitution. That's exactly what they've done. We now seem to understand exactly who they are. It makes perfect sense. Perfect sense. Let me get that back up there. It tried to steal my stuff. Folks, we had Johnny Coathanger talk about lighting up Chicago to 40,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Or was that Celsius? We've got some more information on that front. If you've got something you want to talk about, if you got something you want to add, if you want to be funny, you want to be a prognosticator of the future, hit that super chat button, get your stuff on the screen. But I want to address this idea of nuclear weapons being used. Russia, folks, is warning that Ukraine is planning to detonate a dirty nuclear bomb targeting Russian nuclear power plants. I am going to recommend that you get potassium iodide tablets. I say get some, because at some point, something's going to blow up. Something is going to blow up. They tried it again last week with the Zaporizhia power plant. There was a fire at a cooling tower. It had nothing to do with any radiation. They tried scaring people. The Ukraine military, the Nazis, oh, folks, I put out quite a few posts. I read tweets. I went and looked at Instagram posts, but I did some YouTube posts showing you the Nazis. The Ukrainian military are Nazis. They were the ones trying to use artillery shells, mortar shells, to blow up the reactors in, well, what was once Ukraine, but is now a Russian Federation state in Zaporizhia. But yeah, they're saying dirty nuclear bombs. That's next. That's next. It is incredible what they're willing to do. Potassium iodide, it doesn't stop radiation from coming in you. What it does is it floods your thyroid. Make sure your thyroid is packed with iodine so that the radioactive cesium, which is another form of iodine that happens when, well, nuclear radiation is released in the atmosphere, and it keeps your thyroid from sucking all of it in and then giving you thyroid cancer and killing you. That's how nuclear weapons kill you. Well, if you survive the radiation blast. In any event, folks, I say get some, because at some point someone's going to nuke something, and I haven't been wrong yet. I haven't been wrong yet. They want to do it. They want to do it. There's so much to talk about, folks. So much to talk about that's going on. What do you want to talk about? This is, after all, Sunday Night Live. There it is. Potassium iodide at My Patriot Supply. And there's the website, preparewithtpm.com. Prepare with thepreparedmind.com. So there's another Prepared Mind channel, or rather website, to get you hooked up with what you need to be prepared for what is coming. What is coming? Russia says they're planning it. What has, folks, that little shit, Zelensky, right? What has he done? He is now, thank you, Jolene, keep that up a little bit more, for nuclear war preparation. I also recommend getting a gas mask, an NBC rated gas mask. That's nuclear, biological, chemical, NBC, not the television network, but an NBC gas mask with replacement cartridges in case there is a lot of fallout. You don't want to breathe that shit in. You want to be able to breathe properly through a gas mask that actually does something. Democrats will be out there wearing a filthy diaper on their face. Yeah, good luck with that, you idiots. Anyways, Zelensky has taken credit. That's right, folks. Zelensky has taken credit for blowing up the Nord Stream pipeline. He did that over the weekend. Germany is fucking pissed because no one would accept credit for it. Everyone said, hey, the only people that were really qualified to do that are England, the United States military, and, they could have had some Ukraine people or some Poles with them, but basically that's who did it. Well, now shithead Zelensky's taking credit for it. Germany said that's it. They have an arrest warrant out for Zelensky now. Why? Because it is the Nord Stream pipeline destruction that Zelensky is taking credit for is the largest, single most expensive act of terror in world history, amounting to the cost or excessive cost of trillions of dollars to the European economies. And the Germans have been absolutely crippled by either not having gas, natural gas that went through that pipeline, or having to buy very expensive natural gas sent from other areas, even from America and Canada, getting LNG, liquid natural gas, over to them to replace the natural gas that was coming from Russia. And it didn't hurt Russia a bit. Germany said, well, fuck, I guess we'll have to buy coal. So they started buying, that's right, Russian coal instead of Russian natural gas. But it has crippled Europe. And it pissed off the Germans. And the Polish people, the Polish government is like, hey, you guys just calm down in Germany. Calm down. We don't need this. We don't need fighting here in Europe. Folks, Europe is already at war with themselves. Europe is at war with themselves. Every country that has jihadi Muslims is at war with themselves inside. They're now being openly attacked and hunted by radical jihad Joes out there, chasing women to rape them, murder them. And the governments don't know what to do. Some of the police are getting pissed off. In England, the police are taking a knee, bowing down, dancing with, ignoring crime. It's fucking ridiculous. But the countries are fighting within their own borders, and they're fighting each other and arguing with each other. And Russia is sitting back going, just keep buying what we have. But Zelensky has now shown himself to be an enemy, not of Russia, but of Europe as well. And remember, all Zelensky is and all Ukraine is a money laundering operation for politicians and bureaucrats in Washington, D.C. It is a money laundering operation for many government officials in Europe, the European Union specifically. And that's what they do. They send money over there to help in the war, and they get a kickback. They want Zelensky to keep fighting so they can keep laundering money and enriching themselves. Shit hitting the fan? You bet. They don't want to be investigated, so they need you and me and people around the world, whether it's Steve Conlon in the UK, look out. Bob Hunter in Scotland, look out. Remy in the Netherlands, look out. Look out. Vince Boyle in Belfast, Ireland, look out. right? They want us busy fighting these jihad Joes and not looking at the government for what they're doing wrong. So while the government officials are stealing money, laundering it, and giving it to themselves, we're on the streets having to look out for idiots like Antifa, BLM, and Palestinian terrorists. Unfucking believable. Okay, Jolene, man, who's up next? Man, Jolene, they got their blue wrenches there in the background. Now we got Boomer with a $20 super chat donation right here. And Boomer's back every weekend. He is here consistently, and he normally does two $20. And anyways, we got your system down, good buddy. He says, just watched an interview with the Prime Minister of Poland, and we were just discussing Poland. And he states that open borders is complete madness. He was also recently in Paris, whereas he noticed that its streets literally stink. Now, folks, first off, Paris used to really stink, period, because of their sewage system and sewage problems. Then they got that fixed. The city was cleaned up, good sewer system, sanitation, and then they invited in all of the third world shithole scumbags who now piss and shit in the streets everywhere. The filthy garbage everywhere. Now, the Prime Minister of Poland is someone who I would like to shake his hand and punch him with the other hand at the same time, because he wants World War III with Russia. But he also has said, Poland has said, there would be no Muslim Islamic immigrants allowed in our country. And they meant it. They still mean it. And they don't allow it. They don't allow it. I even watched Gen Z Polaks, Polish people, if you will, doing man on the street, woman on the street interviews, asking him if they're racist. And they were Polish, so their English wasn't so good. But you could say racist or Islamophobic. You know, if you're worried about somebody blowing up, shooting, stabbing you, it's not Islamophobia, it's assholeophobia, right? It's okay for me to fear terrorists. I shouldn't feel guilty about fearing someone murdering and raping little girls. But yeah, they were saying, yeah, we're racist. Absolutely, 100%. This is a racist country. You're not allowed in here if you are a fucked up race of people. In other words, if you're not Polish, you're not welcome. They don't need immigrants. Anyways, the Poles are kind of interesting that way. The government does want to fight a war. Doesn't make much sense to me. At the same time, they don't want a war within their borders. They're one of the few countries in Europe that says, no, we're not allowing it in. Hungary, whose prime minister is Viktor Orban, also says, no jihad Joe, thank you much, but fuck off. Same with Slovakia, where Prime Minister Finn has said, nope, we don't want any of those people. They're fucked up. And remember, he was shot several times, Prime Minister Finn of Slovakia. And he lived. He lived through his assassination attempt. So that's kind of interesting. Yeah, they're trying to assassinate world leaders that don't want to go along with the United Nations, the World Economic Forum, or the European Union, Washington, D.C. bullshit. Folks, we are actually in, right now, a civil war in America. We're in a civil war. It's just the shooting hasn't started. The war is for control of the government. That's what a civil war is. When there's a problem with the government and you have competing factions that want to control it, they engage in warfare. Right now, it is lawfare. It is media warfare or propaganda warfare, psychological warfare being handled by the entertainment industry, the news reporting industry, as well as the political and corporate, shall we say, propaganda industries. Kamala Harris even, Chlamydia Harris, her campaign lied to news reporting agencies, releasing her propaganda as if it was real news stories. We are at war. There just aren't bullets flying yet. It's going to be a partisan war as part of a greater civil war, kind of like we're in World War III with Russia, even though We don't have nuclear bombs flying, even though U.S. military, British military, Canadian military, European military is not in Ukraine flying our flags and our tanks and our jets. We are in World War III. We just don't have everyone shooting at each other yet. Okay, thank you very much, Boomer. Great super chat donation. Awesome. Thank you again. Jolene, who wants to step up next? Who wants to be famous on the Prepared Mind channel? And it is Dan Erickson. Dan the man is back. And he says, what is strange to me and other tax-paying folks is how can the government legally send our money to any other country without anybody having a majority vote? That's a great question. How can they legally send our money? Well, let's look at it this way. There's the question of whether something is lawful and something is legal, right? Taxation is legalized theft. The law says no taxation. You cannot tax people. They are above and superior to government. So why is it we pay taxes? We don't have to lawfully pay tax, but we legally pay tax. So they take our money. Whose face is on the money? The government's face. It says Federal Reserve Note. It says United States Treasury, right? Got a little Treasury seal on there. It is their money, and you have to pay a fee or tax to use it. It is not legal tender in the sense that it's constitutional money. It is printed fiat currency. And again, I think we really need to talk more gold and silver on the channel as well. I know Dan, if it wasn't last week, it was the week before, talked about gold. I remember you, Dan. I remember the numbers, buddy. And you probably were very happy at how Friday ended with the over 2,500 an ounce gold. But because it's not money, it is currency. Because it doesn't belong to us, the people, it belongs to the Federal Reserve, who loaned it to the U.S. government, who gave it to us to use as a currency. We pay a fee. And then they take the money. They collect it as a legal tax. In order to use the money, you have to agree through Social Security number and other, shall we say, government to people nexus. They can do what they want with it. They don't need Congress to come to full approval and the president to sign anything. They use executive order to send money off. They can have Congress agree to it, like maggot Mike Johnson, who's continuing to be talk the good talk and then fuck us over with the other hand. This is MAGA Mike Johnson right here. Talk. I'm a Republican, but fuck you, right? And he agreed to send money over. In fact, it's being reported that maggot Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, has already agreed to Kamala's newest money issue. In fact, who the fuck is president? Who is president right now? Does anyone know? Does anyone have any idea who is president now? Because I'm not seeing a whole lot of Joe Biden out there. I'm not. And Kamala, well, she's not the president, but there's a lot of discussion. There's a lot of discussion that she is going to Joe is going to step down before the election so she can be the president. She can be the first female president. And you know that has just got to piss off Hillary. Woo! She wanted to be the first queen bitch. Sorry. Wow. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Kamala is the czar, folks. She's the border czar. And we are at 450 people live. If you're new to the channel, make sure you're subscribed, and then you can join the comment section. And make sure down below you click the bell. So anytime we do anything, you get a notification. We're talking. And share that internet address up there. You've got to share that. Let's wake up more people. That's what we do here, is wake people up, get them prepared, because there's a lot of shit coming at us. Okay. I talked about Kamala and all of her friends that she's invited up into our country. All these illegal immigrants, the criminals, they're registering to vote. They're kicking people out of their homes, their apartments, their condos, their townhouses. They're chasing them off. They're making things so awful that people are leaving. They're fleeing. Well, I want to offer my extended hand to the nation, because in New York City's Central Park, violent, illegal jihad criminals are forming what they're calling wolf pack gangs. And they're terrorizing, tormenting, robbing, assaulting, raping, and murdering people. And guess what? They're all housed at migrant shelters. Migrant shelters. Oh, Kamala Harris, Chlamydia Harris, guess what she's doing? She is promising that this country is going to build new housing for these people. Come to America, we'll house you all. Well, I say this. Send all these people back to Florida. Send all these illegals down to Florida. We have an alligator population that is very, very hungry. Very hungry. We need to feed our gators. And I think that the wolf pack gangs will not fare too well with the gators. Come to Florida. Bring them back here. I really don't want them to come down to Florida, folks, but Florida, we're not real worried about them. Florida is an interesting state. You want to block the street, you get run over. You want to enter someone's house, you'll get blown away right back out the fucking door. You want to assault someone on the street, everyone can carry concealed weapons. Everybody can carry concealed weapons in Florida. And you're allowed to protect yourself and your neighbor and your family. So these illegals, go ahead and try it here. Antifa, go ahead and try it here. BLM, go ahead and try it here. Try it. There's several other states that are just as nasty as Florida. In fact, if you remember and recall correctly, I think it was the NAACP or some other racist institution claimed that, black people should leave Florida. It's just too dangerous. It's too dangerous down here. Well, every black person that I deal with, either personally or in business, are all incredibly nice and intelligent and polite. So I think they figured out, how to live here in peace and harmony. Democrats, get the fuck out of here. All right, we're over 450 people live, heading to 500. Let's get it on. Let's do it. Remember, this is your show. It is Sunday Night Live. We're 1 hour into the show. If you've got something to say, we got a super chat button there. We also have PayPal, CashApp, Venmo, and the thepreparedmind.club. Here it is. Here's our PayPal TPM. If you want to say something, you got a question, a concern, a comment, a news story, whatever you want to talk about. Sometimes we even just get plain old jokes. And I love jokes, folks. I've got a great sense of humor. And boy, we've got a lot to cover. Once again, Google trying to erase everything I've got set up. Folks, I made a joke about inviting the scumbags down here into the great state of Florida. But the asshole that we call Tampon Timmy Walls, the Democrat vice presidential nomination, the guy who is, he's a sack of shit liar. He's also a communist. And he's also, I believe, if we are to read the news, that he is a suspected Chinese government agent, as well as a stolen valor criminal. He gave, as governor of Minnesota, $2 million to an Al-Qaeda charity. How the fuck does that work? How are you a terror organization, but you're linked up with charity groups so they can, it's money laundering. Now I get it. If you're a scumbag American who loves terrorism, you can donate money to a charity group who then turns around and gives the money to the terrorists and funds them. So Tampon Timmy, Twinkle Toes Timmy, Horsey Boy Timmy Walls gave $2 million to a charity that supports terrorism. Folks, we're supposed to defend this country against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Tim Walz is a domestic enemy. Kamala Harris is a domestic enemy. The Democrats in Washington, D.C. are domestic enemies. I am not inciting violence or recommending you take illegal action. I want you to take lawful action and vote these people out of office. The enemy, they're inside our gates. They're in the gates. So ammo up. Be ready. Not to be a criminal, folks, but to be a patriot, because the Democrats will turn the terrorists loose on us all. They'll turn it loose on us all of us. It is coming. Domestic enemy number one, Democrats, folks, Democrats. And they are the ones empowering and invading our country by bringing in foreign mercenary troops called jihadis. That's right. What do you want to talk about, though? What is on your mind? What are you thinking about here on the Prepared Mind channel? It is your show. It is Sunday Night Live, and we have a lot to talk about, folks. A lot to talk about. Uh-oh. Looks like somebody sent a phishing thing to me. Wow. Interesting stuff. They're idiots, folks. All of them are idiots. In the United Kingdom, folks, this is the world of Stephen Conlon, who likes to report to us from across the pond. In the UK, not the United States of America, at least not yet, authorities have been warning that just observing a riot taking place and not even taking part in it is enough to bring criminal charges against someone. How do you like that? If you're a witness to a protest, you can be charged, folks. That means if you're standing around, you don't even have to be chanting, yelling, nothing. You can be on the street. You might even be in a shop or a business. And if a protest is going on outside, you're considered part of it. The United Kingdom, folks, England, has become the United Soviet Kingdom. They're the United Communist Kingdom now. If you pray inside your head, if you believe something the government doesn't like and they know you believe it, they'll arrest you. They'll fine you. They may even throw you in jail. Thought crime is now real. Just being near a anti-illegal immigrant protest or an anti-government protest. And folks, thank God the Brits are still protesting. They're not afraid. They're standing up. A lot of them are like, you know what? Come and get me. They're fighting the jihadis out there. They are engaged in SHTF. At the very least, they've got hot spots of SHTF, folks. They are very close to having an all-out martial law, Mad Max fight. And guess what they don't have in England? Guess what they don't have in England like we have in America? Guns. Guns. If you have never, ever thought the government could come and take your guns, a government could do this to their own fucking people. Look what England is doing. They're letting in by the thousands, just like in America, anti-British, anti-English, anti-West, anti-Christian warriors that are coming in, and they're running to the nearest group they can find, and they are started fighting people. They're proclaiming they're going to kill all white people, all British nationalists, all Christians. They're going to kill them. Convert or be killed. They are no longer saying that they're part of the country. They're demanding Sharia law, folks. The police are kowtowing and giving them authority. The police are not arresting them for violence. The police are arresting white people, white Brits, black Brits, if you stand up against them. The fight is on, folks. It will come to the United States of America as well. I predict that. It is going to come here. I believe that Kamala If President Trump wins, I believe that Chlamydia Harris, who may become the president if Joe Biden steps down, he's beyond lame duck, folks. I believe she would turn these people loose on us. She turned Antifa and BLM loose on us in 2020. She did back in 2020 when she was running for office. She set up a fund. She told people to put money in the fund. She told the people who got out because they were bailed out by her fund to keep doing what they were doing, committing acts of arson, burning, acts of theft, looting stores, and acts of violence, which resulted in murder. She'll do it again if they lose power to Trump, folks. Last time they did 2020 to steal power from Trump. Now they want to keep Trump out of office. It's absolutely incredible, folks. It's absolutely incredible what's going on. We need to campaign and support Trump, who I'm going to continue to criticize, and demand that he protect America and stop playing fucking games with these worthless Democrat and rhino bastards. You can't work with the enemy. You can't cooperate with the enemy. You can't convince the enemy to join your side. You defeat the enemy. That's how you do it. You defeat the enemy. Ah, boy, I tell you. Anyways, what time is it? Holy cow, folks. We're moving along. What do you want to talk about? Super chat button right up here. Jolene, who has something to say? What are we going to cover? And it's Dan Erickson with a $5 super chat donation. And he says, I will support jihadis 52 cents at a time at 5:56 a.m. or p.m. And I think everyone understands what he's saying. Interestingly, I haven't looked at the cost of 5.56 ammo in quite some time. I am pretty much ammoed up, Mr. Erickson. I think I paid 35 cents a round. I think so. And possibly 45 cents a round, but it's at 52 now. That's crazy. I will help jihadis realize their dream of making it to wherever the hell they make it. And they think they're going to get 72 virgins. I'll help them 100%. 100%. Show me your true colors. I won't wait till I get shot at, folks. Not going to do it. I don't have to allow someone to shoot at me first. I don't have to allow somebody to punch me first. I don't have to allow somebody to brandish a sword and get within 10 feet to convince me they want to kill me. If you're running at me with a sword and you're 50 feet away, I'm pretty sure I know what you're going to do at 50 feet, 40 feet, 30 feet, 20 feet, 10 feet, 5 feet, 2 feet, and ground zero in front of me. I don't have to wait for you to get all the way there. The sword itself indicates a willingness to kill me. I'm not going to wait for him to get that close. If there's 20 people coming at me, running down the street, I don't have to wait till they're on top of me, kicking me and beating me with bats before I realize I am in dire trouble. See what I'm saying? This is what they do, is they attack in groups. That is why, and please pay attention, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Please pay attention, Chlamydia Harris. Please pay attention, Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi. Everybody on the Democrat side, all the rhinos, pay attention. That's what a high-capacity magazine is for. That's what a high-capacity magazine is for. It's to make sure you can protect yourself from crowds of people who are roving in wolf pack gangs, if you will, or radicalized Akinjis, if you will. If they all want to be a bunch of black-clad, jack-in-the-box, jackass ninjas, I will help them all find their way to the promised land. I will. It's going to be interesting, folks. If you're a veteran, if you're a sportsman, if you're an enthusiast with firearms, understand your skills and mindset are going to become very, very valuable in the event they want to play the games in America that they're playing over there in Europe. Now, as reported, let's see, my son went up to Seattle, Washington with family members, and they looked around and they made some discoveries, right? It was interesting. One family member almost lost his shit at the mere sight of Antifa people walking around. It would have been a mess, folks. There'd be nothing left but blood and hair. It's coming. I've been in communication with friends and patriots for the last several days, and I've been observing and watching what is going on. Regular Americans like me and you, and I'm not glamorizing it or encouraging it, but I've noticed a violent response to the jihadis, Antifa, and BLM. Whether it's old men, bikers, regular Americans, Proud Boy types, they're going after them. They're beating the shit out of them. I watched a crowd of old, and when I say old, I mean older than me, in their 60s and 70s Americans who were carrying Trump and American flags on poles, having to use those poles to beat the shit out of Antifa who attacked them. And they stood up to it, folks, and they beat the fuck out of them. I'm starting to see regular, everyday Americans who have jobs, homes, cars, responsibilities, pay taxes. They're fighting back. They're holding massive rallies, folks, in Beverly Hills. They're having massive rallies around the country. Chlamydia Harris, I think she had a total of 140 people at a high school gym. And I think 2/3 to 3/4 of them were her staff, media, and the rest were just people who I guess needed a warm meal and they fed them. There's no excitement or enthusiasm for her, folks. None. And the last time she had like a convention center, had a bunch of people there. They were there to watch a bunch of twerking discount Cardi B's, right? Shitty ass rappers. And then people left as soon as the music was stopped. Crazy world we live in. Are you prepared? Jolene, who's up next? What do we got? We've got Peter K with a $5 super chat donation. He says, good job, my man. Got nothing to say anymore. Just keep it up. And thanks, Peter, you and everyone who supports this channel. Without you, I can't be here. Without your guys' great support, I cannot sit in this chair and do this job. Can't do it. I would have to have a second job. And when you get a second job, guess what? You work on all the other days that your primary job doesn't require. And you work exactly when they say. Let's just say, for example, I got a job with Home Depot or Lowe's, or I got a job at a hardware store selling spatulas. I wouldn't have any choice. They would say, well, this weekend you're working, next weekend, no. You're going to work all these nights. You're going to work all these mornings, whatever. And you don't have any fucking choice. When you start taking 2 jobs, 3 jobs, 4 jobs to make ends meet. So thank you to you guys. You keep the lights on in the bunker. You keep Spam, tuna fish, and of course, scotch in the pantry. Get prepared. It is coming. Woo! It's coming big time. All right, Peter, thank you so much. Let us continue. You guys, it's your show. It is Sunday Night Live. We're an hour and 15 minutes in, meaning we've got about 45 more minutes to go. 45 more minutes to go. Lots to discuss. Lots to discuss. I don't know if you guys have heard this one. Holy shit. We've got 480 people live right now. We're this close to doing 500. Get them out there. Hit that. Get that internet address up there. Send it to friends. Send it to family. Send it to coworkers. Make them wake up and see what the fuck is going on. Now, this bit of news, I've been hoping someone would bring it up, but I've got to bring it up now. It is burning a hole in my my desire to talk about it. There is a political slogan being used by Chlamydia Harris. A political slogan. You know what it is? Oh, man, you know what it is? He's doing this. No. The political slogan is they're a campaign of joy. Campaign of joy. That's Chlamydia Harris, Kamala Harris. Folks, campaign of joy was a Nazi campaign. That's correct. The global fascist corporate banking cartel is who is the puppet masters to Chlamydia Harris and the Democrat Party and the deep state. They are, folks, authoritarian, 100% government power. That's who they are. And they supported the Nazis 90 years ago, and they are supporting Kamala Harris, who is a communazi. The globalists have no original ideas, folks, right? What is the Trump slogan? Make America great again. Make America great again, meaning America was great, America can be great. Kamala's slogan? It's a campaign of joy. Are you shitting me? Really? The globalists, folks, these bad guys, the World Economic Forum, the Illuminati, if you will, they have no original ideas, and they're recycling past programs, past slogans. Remember, folks, the Nazis are the National Socialist German Workers' Party. Nazis are socialists, just like communists are socialists. And both them, folks, Nazis, communists, all socialists, they're all evil, they're all murderous, just like the jihadis are evil and murderous. They're perfect cousins together, all of them. The jihadi terrorists, the communist terrorists like Antifa, the Nazi terrorists, they're all the same. And they're all three Democrat allies, folks, all of them. Campaign of joy, huh? Nice, Kamala, nice. Glad she fact-checked that one before they adopted it. Don't worry. Everything they're bringing up, they're just throwing shit against the wall, trying to get something to stick. Everything hits the wall and slides down. There's just a big pile of shit at Kamala's feet. She brought on Twinkle Toes Timmy Walls, right? The horse gargler. You guys have heard of the dog whisperer? Or is it the horse whisperer? Well, he's the horse gargler. Anyways, I have zero respect, and I enjoy my free speech. My free speech. Everything is political, so I'm going to say everything I wish. Fuckers. All right, Jolene. Holy crap, we just topped 500 people live. Thank you, everyone. 500 people live. We haven't done that in a few weeks. You guys are awesome. Keep it up. Share that internet address. Thumbs up. Let's do it. Jolene, who's up next on the Prepared Mind channel? And it's Boomer. He's back with another Canadian $20 super chat donation. And he says, a coup will be the only option if Trump doesn't win the election. However, do you think that this 21st century generation has the stomach for it? No, they don't. No. Trump, if Trump doesn't win the election, Trump will not commit a coup. The only real successful coup is one that is headed by a military. It has to be headed and run by a military. And that includes the CIA, Central Intelligence Agency, and their forces. Let's use that term, forces. I want to take you back to the Kennedy administration in the 1960s when there was an attempted coup in Cuba. They wanted to kill Fidel Castro and eliminate him. So the CIA, Central Intelligence Agency, was training mercenary forces as well as Cuban expats, free Cubans, if you will. They were training them as a military force to go into Cuba and have a military takeover of the country, period. It failed. That was called the Bay of Pigs. The Bay of Pigs fiasco. And they did that, the CIA did, without President Kennedy's authority or permission. I don't think America and the military will commit a coup d'etat. I don't know if the military will obey an outright theft of the election. 2020, I think, caught a lot of people by surprise. I think it caught a lot of people by surprise. But the left, the media, the CIA, the FBI, they called Trump an insurrectionist. as if a couple of hundred American patriots with no guns were going to take over the government. That's fucking ridiculous. It's asinine. It is absurd. But that's what they said. It truly is what they said. I think that there will be chaos and in America. I think if Kamala wins or claims victory, she will start an enormous, shall we say, partisan conflict. She may cause that even if she loses and says, hey, we're going to have to suspend everything. We've got a civil war in this country. Even if Trump wins, they could cause violence and then claim there's a civil war and, executive order, executive action, suspend the Constitution. Once they suspend the Constitution, Kamala could say, we're going to have to redo this election. We've got too many problems. You see, there's this clause in the Constitution right here. It has everything to do with suspending the Constitution. Oh, wait. No. In the U.S. Constitution, there is no provision, there is no clause for suspending it. The Constitution creates the United States government to serve us. It is the rules for the government of the United States of America. That's what the Constitution does. There is no provision to create a government and allow the government to throw out the Constitution and operate on its own. So if they suspend the Constitution, there is no legitimate government, folks. Now we're operating with a fiat government. A de facto government with no constitution means no constitutional protections. Period. 510 people live right now. If they suspend the Constitution, the government is illegitimate. Anything the government says can only be executed through force, martial law, because there is no de jure legitimate government at that point, whether it's police or military, federal or state. It is not legitimate if they suspend the Constitution. You can't suspend portions of the Constitution. You can't say, well, the First Amendment doesn't count anymore. You can't say, well, the Second Amendment doesn't count anymore. It's not how it works. It's either the Constitution or it's not. But they'll try and convince you otherwise. We could end up with a map, very much, Boomer, that looks like the thumbnail for this video. You could end up with several states sticking with Camel Toes Harris. And you could have the entire South, the Midwest, the upper Midwest, the West, the Southwest, siding and joining together and saying, well, if there's no Constitution, then we have to form our own country to protect and safeguard our liberties, as the Declaration of Independence says we can do. If Washington says there's no Constitution, well, then fuck you, Washington. No sense in listening to you now because you have refused to obey your oaths. You have brought war into our borders and you want us all dead. Fuck you guys. Anyways, thank you, Boomer, very much. Who is next? We're almost at the 90-minute mark, and it's Dan Erickson, and it's back to Boomer. Who's up next? It's Dan Erickson again. We're back to Dan. It's the Dan and Boomer show. Well, that's going to piss off Chin Music. Anyways, Dan Erickson says, Dan the man says, anyone I meet that is offended by the American flag is no friend of mine. I'll tell you what, Dan, anyone who is offended by, dislikes, wants to burn, hates your flag, my flag, our flag, they are not just unfriendly. They are our enemies. They are the enemies of America. They are. In Europe and around the country, government, people, police, and even civilians are taking Palestinian, Pakistani, or any other foreign flag that's being flown. They're taking them down. Folks, a flag is carried into war. A flag is carried into war. Actually, colors are carried into war. A flag is flown at a capital, but a flag is flown, it can't be flown in war. One of the greatest examples that everyone knows when I mention it is what a flag means. When the Marines and the Navy fought at Iwo Jima against Japan in World War II, they took a subtropical or tropical island, Iwo Jima. It's also a volcanic island, folks. That was a beautiful jungle-covered island, and it was reduced to a smoldering rock pile by the time it was all over. And the Marines climbed to the top of Mount Suribachi, and they planted the American flag and raised it. That is memorialized in numerous pictures in the media, on Marine Corps bases. It is there at Paris Island, Marine Corps Recruit Depot. It's a flag. When you bring your flag to another country and fly it, you are pronouncing yourself at war and victorious as well. So if I see a Palestinian or a Pakistani or any other flag, and it's not a diplomatic meeting where you're flying the diplomatic flags of everyone where they're meeting, like if you've got, let's just say, England and the United States, you put their flags together and you have this meeting because you're coming and meeting in their terms of peace, diplomacy. These people on the street are saying death to America. People on the street are burning our flags. These people on the street are flying their flag. They're pulling down American flags and raising theirs. They're claiming victory, as they also claim that they're going to kill everyone that isn't converted or is Christian. They will just kill them. They will, folks. That's what they want. Fuck them all, Dan. I'm not telling anyone to get violent, but know anyone that isn't flying your flag, they're an enemy. Includes the Ukraine flag, folks. When the Congress, the Democrats and rhinos, sacks of shit, started waving little Ukraine flags in Congress after they stole your money and my money and said, we're going to give another 60 or 100 or however many fucking billion it was to Ukraine in their money laundering effort. And they started waving those flags. And folks, Google started taking them down. Facebook started taking those pictures down and hiding it. That was treason by those Congress members, flying and waving the flag of another country in our Congress. Fucking jerk-offs. Thank you, Big Dan, very much. I want everyone to know this, folks. I could be arrested any day now. I could be arrested any day now. A former Trump advisor had his home arrested. I'm sorry, had his home raided because he criticized Joe Biden's Ukraine policy. He criticized Chlamydia Harris's Ukraine policy. He criticized that policy of giving billions of dollars to a shithole of a country so they can send their own people in to be slaughtered by the Russians. We've sent our precious money, our treasure, our hard-earned productivity, and pissed it away. I criticize the policy of Kamala and Biden. They're traitors in Washington, D.C., all of them. I criticize them all because they are losers. They are terrorists. They are traitors. They are a bunch of flaggots. A bunch of flaggots, in my opinion. And that's how I see them, as losers, traitors, and flaggots, and terrorists. So yeah, at some point they might try arresting me for criticizing them. I haven't done anything wrong, folks. I have observed the law. I have obeyed the law. I work hard. I am not a criminal. I pay taxes. And I don't like paying taxes. But they force you to pay taxes or they'll throw your ass in jail. They'll use violence against us to get your money so they can send it to another country, launder it, and then have that country donate it to them. So yeah, I could be arrested any day now, except I'm not going to let myself be arrested because I know what's in store for me. I tell you, folks, here we go. Hey, Jolene, who wants to talk? Who's got something to say? Who is it? We've got 510 people. We've been cruising above 500 people live. This has been great. Hit that super chat button. Well, that's over here. But share that internet address. And Zombie Pumps is up with a $4.99 super chat donation. And he says, hey, Zombie Pumps, affordable, off-grid pumps starting at $99 from a fellow prepper. I don't know what a zombie pump is, folks, but check it out. Check it out, Zombie Pumps. Could this be a water pump? I don't know. But Zombie Pumps, I appreciate the super chat donation. I'm glad you're a prepper and that you've got a product that people can use. Let's look into it. Bam! Zombie Pumps. Thank you much for the donation, really. At Watkins Incorporated, I have deep well pumps, solar pumps, ram pumps, and more. Okay, deep well pumps, folks. If you got a water well, they are water pumps. There are solar-powered water pumps also, folks. You can put some solar panels up, stores them in a battery. I believe they're 12 volt, and they work great. But deep well pumps are tough. Hard to power those with batteries. But ram pumps are something else. That requires a flowing water source like a creek or an artesian spring or well. And you need a little bit of fall. But anyways, it sounds like Zombie Pumps knows what they're talking about. Contact them if you've got a water well or a stream and you need to pump water on your property. Good deal. Good deal, Zombie Pumps. Thank you much for making yourself known to us. And Jolene may very well take a look at your stuff and put you right on the preparedmind.club as well. If you're a prepper and you're a patriot and you have a product, I want to make sure it's promoted. Kind of like the deplorable coffee at cafefe.com. There we go. And use this code, prepared10 will get you a 10% discount. Folks, you can't make coffee without coffee, and you can't make coffee without water. You need them both. And it's really important, folks. Get prepared. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, hey, means of self-defense with your plan. And remember, please remember, where you live, those are the people you're going to deal with when shit gets nasty. Your spot, 10-mile radius around you. People that live in that. People can walk pretty easily 10 miles a day. So understanding the demographics. Who lives within 10 miles of you? What do they believe in? Within 10 miles, do you have a college? A junior college? Do you have a lot of homeless people? Is it rich? Right? Are they rich Republicans? Are they rich Democrats? Is it a mix? Do you know the political demographics? Old, young, Democrat, Republican? What are your percentages? And here's a great one. In your area, how many veterans are there? Because most veterans are pro-America. There are Democrats and there are communist military folks. And they are scum, by the way. Are you prepared? Do you know who's in your area? Tell you what, every fucking Marine I run into is hardcore conservative, pro-America, pro-Constitution. I've yet to run into one and speak with one who is a Democrat supporter. I know they're out there. Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. I know that there's lots of them that are Democrats, but fuck them. Anyways, thank you. Jolene, who wants to step up next? If you've got a question, comment, thought, super chat button right up there is the way to do it. That will get your question onto the screen, and we will talk about it. I tell you, folks, the Democrats, they want to call us racists. Remember Trump and his wall? Remember the wall? Let's build the wall, protect our country, keep illegals out, right? If you want to come in, you don't break in through my door. You come and knock on the door and you say, hey, here you're having a barbecue, John. I'd like to come in. And I go, wait a minute, let me check who you are. Okay, you're a good person. You can come into the barbecue. Someone kicks down the door and comes in and says, we're coming in whether you like it or not. That's what an illegal immigrant is, folks. So you don't put the wall up to keep people out. You put the wall up to make them ask to come in properly. So that's our issue. You can't, but they were saying if you put up a wall, it's racist. When Trump was president, the wall was racist. But now at the DNC, the Democrat National Convention, guess what? The Democrats are building a wall. They're building a wall, but walls are racist. Hey, Democrats, who wants to show up and protest there? The pro-Palestinian, pro-Hamas terrorists, Antifa. They claim that they support the Democrats. They want in, let them in. I say this. I really think that Chicago should arrest them all, convict them all, and after they've been convicted as terrorists, hang them all. Save us all a lot of money and a lot of time and a lot of effort. Chicago, if there's 100,000 anti-American scumbags, Chicago could save this country a huge amount of money and headache and take care of it for us. But don't count on it. Don't count. They're not going to. But I say tear down that wall. I say cut that wall open. Walls are racist, right? Walls are racist. And not being a sanctuary city, that's racist too. Did you know that? That's right. You should be a sanctuary city. Remember when New York City started bitching that they don't have enough money, enough places to put people? Right? New York City is now going to invest $10 billion over the next 3 years. They want to give $10 billion to illegal immigrants. Why would any individual, family, why would any business want to stay in New York City? Why would you give away your wealth to terrorists who are just going to use that money to kill and rape you and your women? How fucking stupid are Democrats? Take a look at the thumbnail for this video, folks. Yep. I know it's kind of an interesting picture, and it shows the Confederate flag for the South. But that was the best. That was the best I could come up with on short notice. The Democrats are going to destroy themselves. They want to destroy this country, and I don't think we should let them do it. Hey, Jolene, I think we got another super chat out there. Who has something to say? What do they want to talk about? What's on your mind? And it is Dan Erickson. Woo! Holy cow, folks. Holy cow. The $50 super chat donation, and that buys me a scotch. That's right, a Glenlivet 15-year single malt Scotch whiskey that was aged in a French oak reserve barrel, by the way. I tell you what, I was getting a little parched there, Big Dan the man. Getting a little parched. This will help me out. This will help me out. Semper Fi, Dan. Stocked up on Pew Pew. You're sounding a little dry. Need some mother's milk. And Scotch truly is, folks, ambrosia of the gods. Yep. That wetted the whistle. Good golly, mother's milk, indeed. Thank you very much, Big Dan. I'll tell you what. Man. We have huge problems coming. I know you're prepared. I may need some more 12-gauge shotgun buckshot. I might need some more of that. Yeah. Do you have enough, folks? Do you have enough ammunition? Ask yourself that question. Do you have enough? If things were to go really bad and you had to go out and defend your property, defend your family, defend your neighbors, defend your community, how long would your ammunition last if you had to deal with marauding scumbags every day? Now, a lot of this, I know the question is, well, is anyone in your neighborhood going to help? Or are you the little red hen having to do all the work yourself? Kind of hard to say, isn't it? A little bit hard to say. That's why you need to know who your neighbors are. Once again, hey, Dan, I'm going to make this recommendation. You just reminded me of it by going down this, pew pew. Who are your neighbors? The best way to find out who your neighbors are politically is to buy some good quality American flags on a stick, a good long stick, and go to your neighbors and say, I would like to show everyone how patriotic our neighborhood is. I'd like to stick this American flag, poke it into your lawn, right? Plant a flag and get all American flags up and down the street. That way, the left-wing scumbags won't think to come down here and get away with it. And if any neighbor says no, they're either afraid of the Democrats or they are Democrats. So if you say, hey, I'd like to put a flag on your lawn, show America how patriotic we are in this neighborhood. If they say no, you can say, well, are you a Democrat? If they say yes, that's your enemy. Don't do anything. Don't harm them. Just keep track. All right. Joe Smith, asshole, Democrat, enemy. And if they say, well, I'm a Republican, I just don't want any trouble. You say, okay, good to know, right? Anytime you want to step up and be a real American and stop being a coward, let me know. I'll come plant a flag here. But at least you would know. At least you will find out. And man, is that scotch good. Right now, it's very medicinal indeed. Last week, you guys trashed me. This week, I'm okay. We are at an hour and 40 minutes. We got about 15, 20 minutes left. This is the Prepared Mind channel. We're talking about shit hitting the fan. We're talking about who the enemies of America are and how you need to be prepared for them. Folks, I'm not worried about Russia. At this point, I'm not even worried about China. I'm certainly not worried about Mexico or Canada. I am worried about the illegal immigrants that are here who are being funded, supported, and even, you guessed it, supplied by the Democrats, by the World Economic Forum, by George Soros. I think they're being supplied with guns and ammunition, folks. You had best be prepared. Jolene, who's up next? We have another super chat out there, and it is, holy cow, it's Chelsea Weerung, a Chelsea and husband back with a $49.99, $50 super chat donation. Here we are. And that means I get another shot of scotch. Kind of a 1-2 shebang. Remember, don't hurt me past, don't be trying to trash me too bad. Right now, I've got a good medicinal feeling going. I got that love and feeling. I got that love and feeling. Anyways, I won't quit my day job. Chelsea, husband, Semper Fi. Take your breath away now. Who is Dr. Data? I need to know. And Dr. Data says, John, put your seatbelt on. Okay, man, what is the data? What is the advice, doctor, other than put my seatbelt on? Right? I hate click it or ticket. Florida's one of those click it or ticket states. I fucking hate it. I really do. You want to fight them? You want to fight City Hall? They'll get you and they'll pull you over. They'll write you a fucking ticket. Then my insurance will go up. I don't like wearing seatbelts. You know what I do like about Florida, though, is there's no helmet law. That's right, no helmet law. So when Uman is down and Brandon's out and Nikki's out and I get out the 170cc hog, no helmet, wind in my hair. That's the way it ought to be, folks. It ought to be your choice. My body, my choice, right? My body, my choice. Holy cow. Okay, Jolene, who's up next? It is Dan Erixis. Oh, yes, $2 super chat donation right there. Pow. And he is 100% accurate on this. Buckshot, great for the drones. I would say that probably the best shotgun round for drones would be duck shot. Number 2. That would be the best because you got more pellets, but buckshot, folks, it reaches out really far. And to take a drone out, you just need one blade or the body or something damaged, and they're toast. But duck, goose shot is great. Buckshot is good. It's multi-purpose, folks. It's not just for bucks. It's for terrorists, too. It's for enemies of America, too. I love buckshot, and I love shotguns. I love my ARs. I certainly do, and I love my handguns. And, folks, the old 1911, that's a N45 ACP. That's my favorite. It's my favorite round. I love the 357 Magnum. I love my Model 686 with adjustable silhouette sights. Put a round through a flea's ass at 25 yards. Anyways, let's do this. Dan, pow, you're the man. Thank you, sir. Great support on this show this Sunday. We need all the help we can get. We need to reach out, share this video with everyone else. Be sure to thumbs up if you haven't already. And if you want to comment, you've got to be a member. You've got to be a member. I have a quote of the weekend. A quote of the weekend. You're going to love this, folks. Before we get to the next super chat comment, before we get to the next one, I got one for you that's going to knock your socks off. And it's by the Republican vice presidential nominee, J.D. Vance himself. And folks, once again, he's doing things right. I will support him. He starts fucking up, I'll criticize him. He is a former Marine, or a Marine, if you want to say once a Marine, always a Marine. But this is what J.D. Vance said. Fucking brilliant. This is what he said about Chlamydia Harris. He said, quote, "Giving Kamala Harris control over inflation is like giving Jeffrey Epstein control over human trafficking policy." Exactly. Fucking brilliant. They're continuing, folks, to suck. We're almost at 2 hours and we still have 485 people live at the channel. That is awesome news. Awesome support coming from you guys. Jolene, who's up next? It's your show. What do you want to talk about? And we got Boomer. He's back. He's got the hat trick on this Sunday with a $10 Canadian super chat donation. He says, whether you're in the gym, plane, train, or bus, people are staring down at a device. He's talking about cell phones. Therefore, had my parents been stuck with the 21st century, I never would have been born. Yeah, our phones, folks, have replaced television, radio. In a lot of cases, they've replaced computers. Phones have replaced friends. They've replaced families. What concerns me most about them, Mr. Boomer, is if you're looking at your phone, what are you not doing when you're on a plane, train, or automobile? In a gym, at a store, you're not looking around. Head up, head on a swivel, observe your area. Who is around you? What is happening? How many times have we seen Canadians, Americans, Brits, Scots, Irish, Danes, Germans, French, Italians not paying attention? They walk around a corner into a crowd of either Antifa or jihadi terrorists, and they get the ever-loving snot beat out of them. They get robbed, or they drive around a street, and there they are, and they get their car attacked, beaten. They get dragged out of their vehicle. Sometimes people get killed just for driving or walking in the wrong, not paying attention. Got to pay attention, right? If you're going to go out in public and you're in an area where these idiots are committing acts of violence, find out where they're at before you go out. Get on your phone and find out. But as soon as you are out, head up, head on a swivel, start looking. Threat assessment, threat assessment, threat assessment. You see a threat, assess that threat. How do you want to deal with it? Do you confront it? Do you go the other way? That's going to become our world, folks. That will become your world. Boomer, thank you very much for your great support. And I want to kind of tack this on to you, folks. There's some strange things happening around the world. In, of all places, Iran is having a Christian revolution. Did you know that? Mosques are closing in Iran as Muslims are converting to Christianity. Isn't that strange? Now, folks, Iranians are Persians. Muslims are Muslims. Iran and Persia, they are a very proud people, proud of their current history. Well, not since they've been taken over by the Caliph, the Muslim terrorist government. But prior to that, they were a very prosperous and powerful culture and have been for thousands of years. But the Iranian Muslims that are leaving their faith for Christianity is because they're not happy with Islam. Believe it or not, folks, 2/3 of Iran's 75,000 mosques are basically closed. 50,000 mosques are closed. It's difficult to verify, of course, given Iran's closed society. What if it's half and not 2/3? What if it's only 1/3? What if it's only 25% of the mosques are closing? That's still a lot, folks. The people of Iran are basically reporting this. They're saying, if this is what Islam has brought us in the last 45 years, we're not interested. What is Islam brought Iran? Internal strife, civil war, murder, hatred, prison, rape, stoning, burning, right? Terrorism. That's what Islam has brought Iran. Very interesting development. I'm going to continue to watch that because I find it fascinating. All right. We've got a little time left. The 10-minute countdown is ticking. What are we going to talk about, folks? Germany, I think I did mention this earlier. I want to mention it again, though. Germany has issued an arrest warrant against the Ukraine government, including one person named Volodymyr Zelensky, right? But the left-wing socialist Polish prime minister, his name is Tusk, by the way, Tisk, Mr. Tusk, says that the Polish government needs to apologize, or the Polish prime minister says Germany must apologize and keep quiet. So now Poland is telling Germany, you be quiet and you apologize to Volodymyr Zelensky. Just fucking unbelievable. Unbelievable, folks. Currently, I want to remind everyone, Ukraine Nazis are in remote Russian countryside. They're arresting, they're abusing, they're torturing, and they're murdering civilians. Yes, I have seen the video evidence that has been uploaded by the Ukraine Nazis. Ukraine has invaded Russia, folks, not to defend ex-Ukraine territory, but to terrorize, murder, and incite World War III. Right? No nation wanted credit for the Nord Stream pipeline bombing. It destroyed so much of Germany and other countries, their economies. Multi-trillion-dollar losses because of Voldemort. They wanted to blame Russia for blowing its own pipeline up. NATO and Washington, D.C. did. Crazy shit, right? Yeah. So now they're burning more Russian coal. Yeah, that's good. Nice carbon footprint there, Germany. Way to go. Way to go, Zelensky. He is the single largest terrorist actor for a single terrorist event ever. Zelensky, thank you, buddy. Right? All incredible stuff, folks. Europe isn't united. Let's do this. Let's move on. Super chat, questions, comments. Jolene, what do we got? Who's up next? And it's O.B. Waddell with a $2 super chat donation. He says, where's Hamas? Well, a lot of Hamas and their supporters are going to Chicago. They're also in, Spain, Portugal, France, Italy. They're in Brussels. They're in England, Scotland, Wales, Ireland. They're up in Finland, Norway, Sweden, Denmark. They're in Switzerland, Austria. Or did Austria say no? No, Austria has them, but they just said no more hijab, no more headscarf. But yeah, they're in Germany. They're in Romania. They're down in Croatia. They're down in Slovakia. No, not in Slovakia. They're all over the place. They're crazy, man. That's where Hamas is. If they want to reveal themselves in America, if they want to declare an anti-American jihad, I say go for it, fuckers. At some point, they're going to reveal themselves like they are in Europe, folks. They are. They're going to reveal themselves, and it's going to be showtime. Thank you, Opie. Jolene, man, who's up next? What do we have as we close down? And it's Dan Erickson with a $2 super chat donation. Wants to offer up his, shall we say, self-defense opinions. He says, I prefer a 9mm G45. 17 freedom seeds, freedom over the 45. Hey, everyone, right? I like to say if I can't get it done with 8 rounds, then I shouldn't be doing it. And you might say, but John, the 1911 only holds 7 rounds. Well, when I lock and load, folks, when I go to cocked and locked with my 1911, I put a round in the chamber and then put a full 7-round magazine in. It's a little bit heavier, but my 1911s are steel anyways. They're all steel, and they're sweet pieces of machinery work. But find out what fits your hand, what fits your need. I do understand the idea with high capacity magazines, right? It's hard to get terrorists to share lead, right? So you've got to go clean through one into the next to get 2 people to share one bullet. A little harder to do with the 45. It's slower moving and it's larger, and jacketed hollow points tend to mushroom out, and they mushroom from 0.45 to 0.75 to 0.95. Never gotten one to go to a full inch, but pretty close. Pretty close. In any event, folks, the objective is to defend yourself in a way that works with you. If you're new to firearms, go rent them, get lessons, become proficient so you can protect yourself and your country. All right. Thank you, Big Dan. 9mm. Folks, 9s are popular. 9, 40, 45, very popular handguns. 5.56, 7.62, 7.62 by 39, also the Russian or ex-communist round. Those rifle rounds are the most prevalent, so they're the most common. You'll find them laying around on the ground once their former owners have no more use for them. Okay, Jolene, looks like we've got a couple minutes left, but we got several super chats. Well, who wants to talk? Opie Waddell with a $2 super chat says, the other ham ass, the fat pink one. Now I'm completely lost. The other ham ass. Spam? I'm missing this completely. Oliver, help me out, brother. I've had too many scotches, or I got lost in this one. Any clue? He's got no clue. We don't know what you're talking about, Opie. The other ham ass. The other pink meat is spam. The big fat pink one. I don't fucking know. I don't know, man. All right, Jolene, who's next?
He's talking about your pig.
Oh, shit. This pig? Peppa Pig? Hey, ham ass, how you doing, man? Well, John, I'm not doing too good these days. I'm afraid of you Americans because you're all armed. That's right. Uh-oh. Dan says $5 super chat donation. He says, stand up and show me you're in good shape, no belly. I'm 6'3", 145 pounds. Oh, I'm 63, 145, 5'8". Okay. Man, get on here and vouch for me, damn it. Here's what I look like. Stand up, you say. Shit.
Okay, we got to do this whole stand-up thing now?
Ah, shit. Yeah, it's tough to stand up. Let me do this.
No belly. 6'3", down to 190. I'm only 2/3 the man that you are.
All right. I got to. That's not fat.
We both got a little bit of a beer gut.
Well, there's a little bit of, I call that strategic reserves.
Yeah, that's just old man belly.
What's that? I mean,
that's just old man belly. We're not doing 100 sit-ups a day and all that crap. I got rid of the keg and I'm not quite back to a 6-pack, but somewhere in between is fine.
Well, you've seen me many times, Mr. Uman. I guess I could put pictures in there. I'm not the animal I was when I was young, but you just got to stay in good shape, exercise, work a lot. But I'm not a big giant fat person. Again, nope. I'm going to pull my shirt tight, right? The deplorable shirt tight. But let's see. Got to do some muscle poses. How's that? Right? Holy shit.
Don't throw your back out.
Yeah, I'm going to throw my back out. So if that basically showed my physique right there. So you can see that I have wider shoulders and lats and chest than my waist. Yep. But I got a little bit of soft stuff there.
Oh, yeah.
A little moss on that rock. I still got a 6-pack. It's just covered in a big cardboard container.
Should I post that rather unflattering picture you sent me floating in the water the other day?
What? Unflattering picture. Anyways, yeah. I hope that satisfies everyone. I'm not in horrible shape.
None of us are in the shape we were 30 years ago.
But I'll tell you what, I watch lots of videos of a bunch of old men, fat old men, beating the fuck out of Antifa.
Oh, yeah.
Old man power, right? So it's okay that we're old, man.
But
yeah,
whenever I pull that stuff out, even just like if we're doing stuff around the shop, the boys, they're all, a lot younger and stronger than I am. And, I pick something up and do something that they can't do. And they go, man, that's that goddamn crazy old man strength.
Yeah. I tell you, one of my Finnish carpenters is in his 70s. The man is so fucking tough. He did a root canal in the morning, came back to work after the root canal and finished the job.
Oh, yeah.
So, there's a big difference between these soft-hearted, limp-wristed pussies and real men out there. It's
Oh, yeah. My old man, he was still, when he went into retirement, after 6 months, he called me up and said, hey, you got anything for me to do around there? I can't stand being home doing nothing.
Yeah.
And he worked here until he moved down to Florida about 4 years ago. And
was it 4 years ago? Yeah.
Yeah. He was late 70s and he could outwork anybody in the damn shop.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's a good deal. All right. I'm not going to run any marathons. I can't run 3 miles in 18 minutes like I did when I was a jarhead. Sorry, I don't want anyone to accuse me of lying. 18 minutes and 10 seconds. Right,
yeah,
but
my knees won't let me do that crap anymore.
What's that?
My knees won't let me do that crap anymore.
Yeah, so I'll let them run and come to me. But anyways, I'm not in bad shape for 6'6" at age 54.
Yeah, hey, just sit me on Overwatch, give me a sandwich, and I'll do my job.
There it is. I did some of my best work from observation posts and setting up ambushes. It was quite fun to do. Anyways, I think, do we have another super chat donation here? Yes. Nice.
Opie sent me a link to a live feed on one of these pro-terrorist marches going on in Chicago right now.
Yeah, that's on TikTok. Just so you know, man, Jolene,
Yes.
I cannot get TikTok to work on my phone. It's considered a good thing. At the same time, I just can't. So, I watch YouTube, and most everything's on YouTube available there if I need to watch it live, or through Twitter X, Elon Musk's setup. Anyways, I'm glad you sent that.
Corsair said that there's a bunch of videos popping up on X and YouTube right now as well. So this was just one that Opie sent me, and they're looks like they're marching down Lakeshore Drive at the moment.
There they go, starting their shit. Hey, Corsair, man, was he Paris Island or San Diego?
I believe it was San Diego.
Okay, Hollywood Marine, huh?
I believe. I maybe he'll chime in here. I don't know. I got that old man memory going like last night when I had to ask you about your son.
Yeah, well, that's there's a lot of veterans out here. A lot of Army and Marine Corps vets, especially, are just chomping at the bit, waiting to protect this country from these Antifa types. I've seen the video from 2020 going around quite a bit as well, of Antifa and BLM going by a rural town somewhere in, I think, Iowa or Indiana, one of the I states, and everyone had their San Diego, where the male Marines are made. Yeah, there were no WMs when I was there in San Diego.
Yeah, Corsair says San Diego.
Yep, San Diego.
Where the male Marines were made.
Brother, that's awesome. Yeah, I loved it. Yeah, the only women we saw there were fucking nursing Navy bitches, and they were bitches too. God, they were awful. But we're in boot camp, so they were told to treat us like shit. but taking the bus up to Ensign Range and to go up to Pendleton for second phase, we saw plenty of tatas on the freeway.
I'm sure
all the women would drive by the Marine buses and just give us the show. No beads necessary. Anyways, I remember we got done up there, and then the drill instructor said, "Hey, who wants to see some titties?" And everyone's like, doing that. And then they're like, there it is, it's San Onofre, right? It's a nuclear reactor there. They got big domes. They look like big boobs. He goes, there's your boobs. Awesome, Dan. No belly. Right? Just got to stay in good shape. I've been in better shape. My arms at one point were 21 plus. And they're not quite that big anymore, but I'm not doing strongman.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't got that kind of bone structure, man. No matter how much I worked out, I was always long and lanky.
Well, yeah, I didn't have a whole lot of problem putting the beef on the arms and the legs and the calves and the chest and the back.
Didn't seem to matter how much I worked out. They never seemed to get bigger.
Yeah.
They just toned up and got stronger, but they didn't look any different.
Yeah, I got some kind of crazy ass genetics. Anyways, you get what you get. Do we have another super chat or no?
I believe there was. Mom, you got that?
Nope, she's got a 0. All right.
Oh, okay.
This is an important story. I want to end the show on this one. Everyone, pay attention here. Kamala Harris got called out by Trump. And he says she wants to increase the number of Supreme Court justices to 27. 27.
What?
That's what
27.
Trump is reported as saying, that she wants that. They're talking about loading the Supreme Court with their judges. And if she does that, that is going to guarantee judicial tyranny under President Chlamydia, the hoe. Either we win this election. You may not love Trump. Some people more, some people less. If we don't win, we're going to be fighting evil federal goons, jihadi terrorists, and UN troops. I see that coming. There's no way around this violence. And apparently it's they'll use their stooges, Antifa, BLM, and now the Palestinians. The Nazis used their youthful, idiotic stooges to take over the country, to terrorize people into silence and submission. And same with the Soviets, same with China. They brought in their young students, and once they got everything they wanted, they kill off their radical idiots. But not until they get us to submit to their authority, and they arrest all the people they don't like. It's happened so many times now, it's just inarguable.
Looks like Blue Cord chimed in with a show closer.
Oh, well, that's great, because I need one more. Woo! Blue Cord Devil, $50 super chat donation. I could use another good one here before bed. 2 would probably kill me, but 1, I think I can do one more. And then this will work during the week, for medicinal purposes. Anyways, Blue Cord Devil says, been a long day. Peace and prayers, John, Jolene, Uman, and everyone else. Watch your 6. Stay armed, stay calm. That is important, to stay calm. Right? Don't go off half-cocked. Don't make stupid decisions. Don't do anything illegal. Observe and obey the law. Know the law. And be a good American. Be a good human. And our time is going to come. Hey, to you, Mr. Man, cheers.
Cheers. And Blue Cord, John caught up on your last week's at the beginning of the show in case you missed it.
Woohoo! You can smell the sherry in that, or wine in there. Wow, very good. Man, I'm gonna check out. We're gonna close down the show. I want to thank everybody, and I will be back 0:30 tomorrow. And the only reason I will not be at any time doing 0 darks is if there is no internet access. The internet has been very bad lately. Mobile cell data. And that's how I like to record those, is just heading out into the dark, starting the workday before the sun comes up. And sometimes I'll do them after the sun comes up, because finally there'll be enough internet to do it. Crazy stuff. Anyways, Mr. Uman, thank you, sir.
You're welcome, sir. You have a good evening, and wish everybody a good week. Stay mentally tough, question everything, and don't listen to these idiots who start every one of their videos with red alert or emergency notice, and it's really happening this time.
And in exactly 10 days, here's a date I'll give everyone. November 5th, presidential election. Be there. That day is that's one that I know is supposed to happen. Anyone else giving you a prediction? They're probably full of shit. Anyways,
and that will be a significant one.
Yep. God bless. Semper Fi. And I'll see you guys soon.